Welcome to the YWCA's Empowering Leaders video series. Hi, my name is Christina Johnson. I'm the Director of Marketing and Relationships at the YWCA, and joining me here today is Kristal Walker, Vice President of Employee Wellbeing at Sweetwater Sound. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Let's begin today with having you share with our audience just a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I'll admit this is probably going to be the most challenging piece because I have a lot going on right now. So I'll keep it very limited. So again, I'm here, Vice President of Employee Wellbeing. I've been in Fort Wayne and officially a Hoosier now for about 7 months. I come originally from Los Angeles, California, born and raised there, and then the last 12 months prior to coming to Sweetwater here, I lived in Las Vegas. And both super exciting places to live. I feel like my journey here to Fort Wayne has actually been a breath of fresh air because, as you can imagine, both Los Angeles and Nevada, Las Vegas specifically, being very busy places all the time. So been here 7 months now, so excited for what's to come. I've worked my way up from literally a high school dropout to vice president, which has been super exciting, and oftentimes I've had to stop myself and say, you know what, it's not so much about the destination, it's more about the journey. Learned a lot along the way, specifically by trial and error. And so my goal now is to just be the best version of myself so that I can live my best life and surround myself with people who are willing to do the same.
Wow, inspirational. Oh. As an empowering leader, can you share some of the activities you've been involved with?
Absolutely. So I try to surround myself or allow myself to be included in activities that are pretty universal. And what I mean by that is there's some things that I'd like to do as part of my career that I feel like is always personally fulfilling. There's some things that I like to do in terms of community engagement and being involved in the community however I can. And then there's some things that I just like to do personally and with my family that I try to hold dear to my heart and exclusive because those are the things that give me the most joy. As I think back in my journey, if I were to start with my career, I've always been fortunate enough to work for an organization where I've worked in the office with, if not the owner of the company, the most senior leadership, which has always been personally fulfilling for me because I felt like I get to model the behaviors of the leaders. Or in most cases, also, I had to determine what behavior I didn't want to pick up. So just a lot of day-to-day activities that were in alignment with the work that I did, had an opportunity to just be involved from that perspective. From the community perspective, I'm also an ordained minister, so I've been ordained now for probably about 11 years. And any opportunity that I get to just kind of take people in their most rawest form and help either provide some advice, help either model a particular lifestyle. I'm big on if there is no blueprint for where you want to go, you get the luxury of creating one, right? And so I've been super fulfilled when I have an opportunity to empower women, all ages, specifically young women, but men also, whenever those opportunities presented themselves. Just literally helping people get from point A to point Z is what I like to call super fulfilling. And then in my home or my personal life, I'm a big proponent of personal and professional development. So anytime I have the chance to refill myself or replenish myself, every morning I like to do what's called making sure that I get my mental protein, right? And that's just listening to something super empowering or just sitting silent and trying to reflect on opportunities that I have without overwhelming myself and being mindful of my own personal well-being. I try to do those as much as I can. I'm also trying to role model the lifestyle that I like for my family to pick up. I feel like leadership is the same from my house to the White House, literally, when you think about the core responsibilities of what's required as a leader. And I feel like if I can model that at home, sometimes I feel like there's a special saying in the good book that I like to read. It's a prophet is not welcome in his or her own home, right? And so I feel like if I can get the love, if I can get the admiration, if I can get inspired by what's happening in my home, then it's easy for me to project that in other activities that I'm involved in.
Mental protein, remember?
Yes, yes.
So let's talk about where you feel we would be as a community if we didn't have empowering leaders, like you.
Oh my God. Well, I'm super humbled just to even be considered an empowering leader. I will tell you, I think that any group of people, any population would be lost without true leadership. I know growing up, there were many opportunities that I feel like I missed or I had to learn along the way just because I didn't have a leader in front of me, someone that I could model all the time. Oftentimes my leaders came from afar, right? Perhaps somebody I watched online or perhaps someone I studied or read about, but I never had that person to connect with on a very personal level. So I feel if it impacted me the way that it did just as an individual, then as a group of people, you can only imagine how lost individuals will be. I also feel like without a leader, you give much room for calamity, chaos to exist. And when you have that one voice that's willing to go the mile to ensuring that a people is going to receive anything that they put their hands to or that they have an opportunity to just kind of build around, you got something special there. You really do. You have something absolutely special there. So we absolutely need this. I appreciate even being asked to be a part of this. And oftentimes leaders will tend to be misfits. Right, I heard it said, of course, as part of my mental protein, I was watching something a couple of weeks ago, and the speaker said, if we spend a lifetime trying to fit in, when really the folks that we admire the most are the ones who stand out. And so sometimes leaders can be positioned as misfits, or they wonder oftentimes, I know that was definitely a part of my childhood, wondering which circle do I fit in, not knowing that I was called to lead and begin my circle to begin with. So that's just my perspective.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you for letting us
welcome.
feature you as our empowering leader. Truly, our community is so much more well off because you're here. So thank you for moving to Indiana.
You're so welcome. I need you to tell that to my husband and my 16-year-old daughter, who's just like, Mom, why do we gotta move to Fort Wayne?
Fort Wayne. Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.